Hello, artist friends. So as we get ready to prepare for our Zoom and Nancy, I just wanted to share with you a couple techniques that you can practice for puppeteering for Zoom or for any camera. And these will help us have a really fun, really dynamic Zoom and Nancy experience. So first of all, I just want to say your puppets are looking amazing. There's so much creativity. Some people went very literal and went to the images from the book, and some people went a little more abstract and we're just really using some materials from home in a really, really creative way, or just expanding on their puppet design. So that's fantastic. I can't wait to see the finished products. I know some were a work in progress, and for those of you who didn't get to it yet, I really look forward to seeing your puppets this next week. Okay, so let's talk about how we puppeteer on Zoom. So first of all, you see if my puppet's way back here, it can be a little bit hard to see, especially if we're all looking at each other in the little screens. But if my puppet is way up here, wow, now it's like Anansi is totally taking over the puppet world, right? So we want to think about bringing our puppets in close to the camera, closer than you might think, okay? So that your puppet basically fills up your whole screen when you're in the scene, on stage / on video with your puppet. Okay, so let's talk about how do you get there? How do you do entrances and exits? There's a couple ways. One is, of course, you can just kind of enter in sideways, like if the brothers or the children of Anansi are going to help Anansi, they might come in the screen that way or go out that way. Sideways is super fun. Or like Anansi going on his adventure can go this way like that. And that's super, super fun. Another fun way is using your camera and like just coming in really, really close and then like walking backwards until you find your spacing. This works really, really, really well when you're doing exits. It's a fun way to exit. So you're here doing your scene, talk, 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 and it's time to exit, and you just go forward right into the camera and sweep it past. I'm just going right to the camera and then lifting it up past the camera. And then you can leave your puppet out for the next scene and just watch when other people are puppeteering. And that brings me to a good point. Just like when we're puppeteering on the stage, you want to be on stage and off stage. On camera, the equivalent is if you're off stage, you just don't have your puppet showing on your camera. You get to become an audience member at that time. So it's a really cool experience that we get to have between performer and audience back and forth. So again, if we want to bring our puppets in, we can go like this, and then we're right here, and then exiting wee towards the camera. Or again, sideways, you can bring it on and then off that way. And I'll let you choose. Maybe the fish swimming might be a nice thing. Here's my little fish. Maybe the fish swimming into screen might be a nice way to do it. And then like, I don't think anybody deserves a prize, and then swims off again. That might be a really fun way to do fish. So partly it's going to depend on your character and what's appropriate for your character. For example, if Moon, I'll just use the backside of fish for Moon. When Moon gets tossed up into the sky, maybe you want to bring Moon up like this, really close in, and then to the back. And that looks like Moon is farther away because Moon is farther away from the camera, but that can be a nice kind of spatial relationship to keep Moon present in the scene, but not totally the focus of the scene, okay? Rather than being off stage, okay? Cool, so that's a little something to play with. Now, let's talk about holding focus, stillness, and action. So when your puppet is talking, you want to have it have a little wiggle, a little movement in the camera. And notice how close I am, but if I'm like, I'm Anansi, my name, I am the spider to the Ashanti people. So I give it a little jiggle because that's going to pull everybody's eye to that particular camera. Now, if we have it on the speaker view and we jump around, to speakers, that works, but sometimes there's background noise and it doesn't work so well. So if we do this in gallery view, this is actually, if we do this in gallery view, then we go blue, 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 blue. This is starting to move and our eye will know exactly where to look. Okay, so I'm going to propose that maybe we do this in gallery view, maybe speaker view. We're going to experiment with it. But either way, give it a little wiggle, make your sound, and that, no matter if you're speaker or gallery, it's going to pull your focus to that frame. Now, that being said, of course, the reverse of that is if you're not speaking, you have to be very, very still so that you don't pull focus or accidentally make noise. Mine is made with a kitty toy. So if I accidentally jiggle this around, I'm going to make some noise. And if we're in speaker view, it's going to come to me even though I'm not talking. Okay. So here we are. Anansi's in the scene, but not talking. So I'm still. Maybe having just a little puppet breath so that he's not dead on screen, but still has a little life in him, and then starts to talk. Oh, well, I love to go fishing with the fish. Oh, Naomi, Naomi, please help me, Naomi. Right, doing this little thing, and then he exits. So he goes off this way, or goes off this way. There's just some fun ways to play with that. Let's see. I think that mostly covers what we want to talk about. I do want to talk about, again, one more time, remind about framing the puppet. So if I was doing all of those things back here, imagine now I'm like letting Anansi wiggle and talk back here, but he's such a small part of the frame, it's hard to see, right? So think about like a close-up picture of your puppet is what you want to fill the whole frame with your puppet. And then we will all be able to really see your puppet design, and we'll be able to see the action. And it should make for actually a really, really exciting puppet play. One last thing I want to add as we prepare for our Zoom performance of Anansi, where to put your script and how to deal with that part of it. So what I'm doing is I'm laying my script. I have my computer on a table with my little Zoom camera, and I'm laying my script right in front of me. And that way the script can be laying down right there so I can follow along. And my puppet's right here in front of and doing the thing. So I don't have to worry about looking off somewhere else or trying to hold the script and the puppet at the same time. But it's just laying there. And then when I turn the page, it's just right there to turn. Easy peasy. But my puppet is in the frame and blocking any action that I might have with the script. So that's great. And then we want to make sure we are keeping ourselves still when we're not on, but also following along, reading along with the script, even if we're not on, so that we are ready for our entrances and our exits. Okay. That's all that I have. We're going to go over this briefly and check in on it next week. And then we're going to perform the whole shebang with the text, with the puppets, and that's going to be really awesome. Okay. Have fun. Bye. See you soon.